Alright guys, welcome back. Imagine this, you're slogging through yet another dreary British April. The rain is hammering your body, your socks are soaked through, and the highlight of your week is a lukewarm Greggs sausage roll. That's more regret than reward. Now picture ditching that grim reality for a city-wide water fight so colossal it turns the streets into a drenched, delirious playground. Welcome to Songkran, Thailand's traditional New Year's knees up, where I've been living here as an expat and getting absolutely soaked in the best way possible. It's a cultural riot, a chaotic blast, and it's got more water than a British summer has misery. So strap in, because I'm about to take you on a joyride through this soggy spectacle, packed with upbeat vibes, a hefty dollop of sarcasm, and enough cheeky wit to keep you chuckling, in theory. So, let's dive in.
You're joining us.
You got walls and a roof. Well,
Songkran isn't a festival, it's a full-blown Thai takeover that flips the script on everything you thought a celebration could be. We're talking between the 13th to the 15th of April, sometimes longer, because hey, who's counting when you're drenched, right? So when Thailand's heat is cranking into overdrive and the locals decide the perfect way to kick off the new year is to turn the whole country into a giant water park. And I've been right in the thick of it, dodging buckets, grinning like a complete plonker, and I can tell you it's the most fun you'll have while accidentally gulping half a litre of questionably sourced water. This isn't some tame street party, it's a cultural juggernaut with roots deeper than a politician's back pocket, and I'm happy to drag you guys through every sopping detail. Let's set the scene. Thailand's already a stunner, right? It's got golden temples, spicy street food, and beaches that make you wonder why you ever bothered with Skegness. Then Songkran hits, and it's like someone cranked the dial to 11. The streets absolutely explode into a riot of water, laughter, and pure unfiltered chaos. It's got history, I mean centuries of it, tied to the old Thai solar calendar, marking the sun's shift into Aries. Back in the day, it was all about purification. Gentle water pouring on Buddhist statues, sprinkle on the elders' hands, and a bit of spiritual spring cleaning. So fast forward to now, and it's morphed into a nationwide water war, where no one's safe, except maybe the monks. More on that later, I'll give you a bit of info there. I mean, I've seen grannies armed with bowls, kids with water pistols bigger than their heads, and blokes in pickup trucks unloading barrels like it's Mad Max Wet Edition. It's tradition meets total bedlam, and I'm living for every second. But before you start dreaming of a splashy utopia, let's just get real. Songkran's a beast to tackle. I mean, imagine Glastonbury, but swap the mud for puddles and the overpriced cider for a fire hose to the face, okay? Safety's a tightrope walk. I mean, these waterfowls can get feral, and they can get feral quickly. You've got toddlers lobbing water balloons with shocking accuracy, teens with super soakers that could double as weapons, and aunties on balconies perfecting their aim like snipers. Now, I've witnessed scooters skid out, unfortunately. Phones can take a fatal swim, and one poor old sod lost his flip-flop to a drain mid-battle. All casualties of the fun. Now, the trick is to keep your wits sharp. Don't blast the wrinklies, they're untouchable here. And bear that in mind. And maybe leave your Sunday best at home, unless of course you fancy it being trashed. Respect is non-negotiable. Whip off your shoes at temples, keep the shorts decent, and don't be the kind of numpty who soaks a monk mid-prayer. The locals are absolute gems, smiley and forgiving, but they'll peg you as a prat if you don't play by the unwritten rules. And their history is proper gripping too, not just some let's get wet lark. Songkran's been around since the ancient Thai calendar was a thing. So kicking off when the sun says cheers to Pisces and slides into Aries. Very cosmic and very cool. Water's the MPV here, symbolizing a big cleanse. Washing away the old year's grime spiritually and physically. Originally it was a low-key thing. I mean, think scented water trickling over Buddhist statues, a gentle pour on granddad's hands to wish him luck. But nowadays it's a full-on aquatic apocalypse. But those old rituals still shine through. I've seen families troop to temples, kids giggling as they sprinkle water on Nan, while 2 streets over, some lads unloading a tsunami from a pickup. I mean, it's a glorious mashup of reverence and absolute mayhem, and I just can't get enough of it. It's amazing. Living Songkran as an expat is like winning the lottery for your soul. The streets burst into a kaleidoscope of colour, floral shirts flapping in the breeze, traditional silk gear looking lush, the odd soggy tourist rocking a same but different t-shirt they'll definitely regret later. Music's everywhere, Thai pop blasting from knackered speakers drowned out by shrieks and the slap of a wet flip-flop on tarmac. I mean, I've legged it through Bangkok's Khao San Road. I've dodged icy cold ambushes from every angle and ducked into Chiang Mai's moat-lined lanes, where the vibe's just as bonkers, but slightly less gap year gone feral. April's scorching peak summer vibes, so the water is a godsend, even if half of it ends up in your gob or up your nose. I mean, the energy is like nothing else. Like the whole country's decided to chuck the rule book and party for 3 days straight. You haven't lived until you've seen a tuk-tuk driver cackle like a madman as he nails you with a hose from 20 feet away. And it's not just madness though. There's a heart to Songkran that'll melt even the most jaded British cynic, such as I. Families pile into pickups, mates arm themselves with barrels, and strangers grin at you like you're part of the gang. I've had locals shove water guns into my hands shouting, "Play, play," with infectious glee, and I've jumped right in, because who says no to that? Temples stay buzzing, gold Buddhas gleaming as folks pour water with this quiet respect that hits you square in the chest. It's the contrast that gets me. 1 minute you're bowing at the shrine, and the next you're dodging a bucket from a giggling kid. You're not just watching, you're actually in it. And whether you're blessing an elder or getting rinsed by a gang of teens, it's knackering, it's brilliant, it's Thailand at its dazzling best. Logistics though, I mean, they're a minefield. Water fights sound like a laugh until you're skidding on wet tiles or fishing your phone out of a gutter. I mean, I've learned the hard way. Ditch the fancy trainers. I mean, they're finished anyway. I mean, shove your gear into a waterproof bag, round about 50 baht in any market. Absolute steal, about a pound. And maybe don't neck 6 beers unless you fancy a soggy tumble. The crowds are mental. I mean, think London Underground at rush hour, but wetter and louder. So stick close to your crew. And for the love of all that's holy, don't be the Burke who chucks water at a copper or into a shop. They're not here for your stand-up routine. That said, the locals are champs, smiling through the chaos, quick to laugh when you cock it up. Prep smart, respect the vibe, and you're sorted for sure. Now, the water battles. Oh, wow. I mean, they are stuff of legends. So picture me in Pattaya. Sun is blazing like a blowtorch at the moment, locked in a showdown with a pack of kids wielding water pistols the size of small cannons. I've got 100 baht, around about £2.50, pump action beast from 7-Eleven, and it's game on. Buckets are flying, hoses are spraying, and some jokers rigged a bin with a nozzle that's soaking everyone in a 10-meter radius. I've been drenched head to toe, cackling like a lunatic, while a Thai nan nearby nails me with sniper precision. She's the real hero here. It's not just a scrap, it's a citywide ceasefire where everyone's fair game. Monks aside, obviously. So up in Chiang Mai, for example, it's next level. Folks scoop water straight from the moat and pickup trucks roll through like soggy tanks, unloading on anyone daft enough to stand still. It's chaos, it's soaking, and it's the most fun I've ever had since I nicked my mate's last chip at the pub. The cultural bits aren't just for show. They're the beating heart of it all. I've nipped into temples mid-festival, barefoot and dripping, to watch folks pour water over Buddhas with this calm reverence that's almost hypnotic. Silk shirts shimmering, floral garlands swaying, and the music's a melter, even if I can't hum a note. Food stalls are everywhere, 20 baht, around about 45p, grilled skewers that melt in your mouth, mango sticky rice that's basically a hug in food form, and it's all dirt cheap, and divine Songkran's a sensory overload. The splash of water, the hum of temple chants, the sizzle of street eats wafting through the air. It's Thailand flexing its muscles and it's grinning ear to ear, soaking it all in. Sure, it's not flawless. My flat's been a war zone of soggy mates crashing over. I've lost a sock or three to the floodwaters. But who gives a toss? Songkran's a jolt of life, a two-fingered salute to the mundane, and a reminder why I swapped Blighty's grey for this mad, marvellous mess. It's a renewal with a side of anarchy. Tradition with a twist of lunacy, and I'm already counting down to next year. The locals reckon it washes away the old year's muck, spiritually and literally, and I'm a believer. 3 days of this trumps a soggy British bank holiday hands down. So let's talk scale. Songkran's massive. In Bangkok, it's a concrete jungle turned into a splash zone. Khao San Road's a warpath of water guns and buckets with tourists and locals slugging it out in glorious unison. Chiang Mai's got its own flavour, moats and canals feeding the frenzy, a slightly chiller vibe, but no less mental. Down south, the islands join in. Phuket and Krabi see beachside battles where the sea's just another weapon. I mean, I've darted between cities, each with its own spin, but the vibe's the same, pure, unadulterated joy. And it's knackering. 3 days of dodging, splashing and laughing leaves you shattered. but it's the kind of tired that feels like victory. The prep's half the fun too. Markets flog water guns like they're going out of fashion. 50 baht for a basic blaster, 200 baht if you fancy something that'll take out a small army. Locals rig up barrels, hoses, even ice blocks for that extra oi that's cold. And let me tell you, it's cold. You wouldn't think, being like a hot environment, and that is cold. It's DIY chaos, and everyone's a mastermind. I mean, I've seen kids build barricades from bins, blokes turn scooters into mobile splash units. It's ingenuity meets insanity, and it's brilliant. Songkran's also got a social glue. I've made mates mid-battle, swapped grins with strangers who just drenched me, shared a beer with a bloke who earlier hosed me down. It's a leveler. Age, nationality, whatever. None of it matters when you're all soaked and screaming. Families pile in too, mums and dads wielding buckets while the little ones go rogue with balloons. It's a rare thing, a festival that's as much about community as it is about chaos. And it's really got me hooked. So, ready to trade your brolly for a water pistol? Songkran's calling, and it's the most fun you'll have getting drenched outside of a British monsoon. I've lived it, loved it, and I'm itching for round 2. If you've got Songkran stories or just want the lowdown on surviving the splash zone, chuck them in the comments below. Better yet, hit that subscribe button for more expat adventures and insider gems. Also, do please share it if you like it. Songkran's waiting, and it's high time you join the madness. So what's holding you guys back? Let's make waves together. Just remember to stay curious, stay skeptical, and we'll see you on the next one.